Today's Living Local Carolina is sponsored by Carolina Trust Federal Credit Union.
Oh, there's something so real about living local, about the people and the places where we live. Just look at all the reasons why we call this home. And I'm living local. I'm living local 'cause it's where I love to be.
Welcome to the Living Local Carolina Financial Friday Community Panel. I'm August, Carolina Trust Brand Ambassador. And with October in full swing, football season is here and bowl season will be here before you know it. Today we are joined by some very special guests, Rachel Quigley, who is the Executive Director of the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and Conway Mayor Barbara Blain-Bellamy. So ladies, thank you so much for being here with us today.
So happy to be here with you, August.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. And, you know, Rachel, for people at home who may be unaware, what is the Myrtle Beach Bowl?
So the Myrtle Beach Bowl is a Division I postseason football game that takes place at Brooks Stadium on Coastal Carolina's campus every December.
Yeah, wonderful. And how did the Grand Strand area kind of be selected or get lucky enough to get a bowl game right here in South Carolina?
Sure. So sports tourism has been growing in our area, as you both well know.
Yeah.
And ESPN Events came to us maybe about 6 years ago and started looking at hosting a basketball event here.
Okay.
And the basketball event here, which is now the Myrtle Beach Invitational that takes place in November, turned into them looking at us as a location for a bowl game. So we were able to establish the Myrtle Beach Bowl in the area in 2020.
Wonderful. And I know you said it's a postseason game. What qualifies teams to be able to make it into a bowl game like the Myrtle Beach Bowl?
So typically a team would need to win 6 games to be able to participate in a postseason contest. And then the selection committee also looks at what the competition is going to look like on the field as well.
Okay.
And then we always consider too if there's an opportunity to bring a team that can drive to whatever the market is or is easily able to travel, because we want the fans to be able to come enjoy postseason football.
Right, and we've been very fortunate, the past 2 years to have a few teams from, each side that was able to do that. And so what makes the Grand Strand area, I know we mentioned the growth of sports tourism, but what makes the Grand Strand area the perfect location for a bowl game?
There's just so much to offer here. Not only do we have plenty of hotel properties, but we have attractions, dining options, all up and down the coastline, the 60 miles of beach, all the way into Conway as well. So there's just a lot to do and see for the teams and the fans that are coming into town.
Yeah, which is perfect. And I know you all had the opportunity to go to another bowl game that was similar to ours in Alabama. Tell me a little bit about, what it is like to see another bowl game in action in a different area of the country.
Well, Rachel and I were fortunate enough to go to the Camellia Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama a few years ago. And I had all kinds of huge expectations about what all goes into a bowl activity. And it is crazy. It is a real broad spectrum of events and opportunities. So you've got in the center of it all a huge football game that focuses on some of the best scoring teams in that particular conference coming together, and football enthusiasts follow their football, with a rigor. Yeah. So what we noticed though was that there are so many pieces, generally unrelated pieces, but each of them is so important for pulling it together. You have everything football that has to do with the universities, the players, the teams, the coaches, their needs for hospitality, for transportation and food, just fundamental things. Right. And then you've got, for all your sports enthusiasts, travel and entertainment and opportunities for boarding and, all the hotels and restaurants that we offer. Myrtle Beach and the Grand Strand and even Horry County of late are becoming very well known as a destination. Yeah. But we're growing as people see the varied facets of what we have to offer. So it's all of those things that we think of on the Grand Strand, family-oriented things to do. Yeah. And we've brought to Brooks Stadium at the beautiful campus of Coastal Carolina University in Conway, South Carolina, a Myrtle Beach bowl game. I
Yes,
think
for
everybody's
sure.
excited to be a part of that.
For
Yes.
sure. And I know, as you were mentioning, so many things go into preparing for a bowl game. And, Rachel, I know you know a lot about that. So I'm really looking forward to hear about all the things that you have to get ready to make the Myrtle Beach Bowl happen when we come back from the break. Welcome back to the Live in Local Carolina Financial Friday Community Panel. Before the break, we were talking to Mayor Barbara Blain-Bellamy and Executive Director of the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Rachel Quigley, about the Myrtle Beach Bowl game that's coming up soon and some of the big tasks that go into putting on such a huge event. So Rachel, I really don't know how you do it all, but if you'll kind of tell me about some of the different things that go into the start and, as we're working up month by month, go into planning such a huge event in our area.
Sure. Well, I think the first thing that we need to know is that we have an incredible team behind us. There are a lot of different people that work on this event throughout the year in other locations, in the ESPN events office in Charlotte, along with the staff that we hire throughout the year to help us with specific tasks.
Yeah.
But in terms of planning for the bowl game, we work on securing hotels, venues for different events we have throughout bowl week, transportation, hotels for officials. There's just so many different aspects of planning that go into bowl week.
Yeah, and I know this game is in, December, right there before the holidays. When do you really start preparation for this event every year?
Realistically, probably about February. We take a couple weeks to wrap things up from December, and then we move on to the next year. So we always start with looking back at the year that just happened and sort of taking an inventory of what we could do to improve the next year.
Yeah, which I think is great. And I know you mentioned, that a lot of people go into making the bowl game the great success that it is, including an executive committee that you've put together with leaders in the area. And I know Mayor Blain-Bellamy, you're actually on this executive committee. So could you tell me a little bit about, your role as a committee member and how you select people from the committee and how their input, helps you make great decisions for the game?
I'm certain that one of the biggest challenges for Rachel and the staff is to get the right people in place.
Right.
It's really important to have the buy-in from the larger community. So we're talking about Coastal Carolina University and using its facilities. We're talking about local government and any rules that might apply to certain events that are planned, and just working out the pieces. As an elected official, I've been on the committee and have not been really involved in some of the larger pieces. My other responsibilities won't allow me to take on very much, but as I said earlier, the bowl game itself is just it's this huge octopus with tentacles reaching in every imaginable direction. So to find people who have some expertise and have some say-so in each of these directions is really probably what leads you to put people together. I've taken on a simple task that has to do with inviting some participants in high school football and cheering, possibly, or other people in our public schools, to give an opportunity for them to experience a bowl game, to look forward to being a part of something as big as that, and just to foster growth of the participation in the bowl game itself. 3 years is very new for such an undertaking as this. The Myrtle Beach Bowl is in its infancy. And the more that we can spread the word and spread the interest, the bigger everything is going to be for us. And the more meaningful for the players.
For sure.
I was extremely happy last year with the huge numbers of fans that came in from the two teams, that and their vigor and the energy. I mean, there's just like, it's electrifying. It's something that really, if you ever have an opportunity to be a part of, everybody needs to take that chance.
For sure. And I know you ladies are both
as mayor and as executive director, you're both in positions that require a lot of responsibility. What are some of the different things in your career, Rachel, that has gotten you to this place to be the executive director of a NCAA bowl game?
I think the biggest thing for me is just having mentors behind me, people that, came before me, both men and women, that have been in the sports industry, have been in local government. Those mentors have just been so encouraging to me, and that's really been the biggest motivating factor, is being able to learn from those people and just hear their words of encouragement.
Yeah, for sure. And having, a vision as executive director of what you want to see the bowl game become, and having so many people like Mayor Blain-Bellamy and other people in our local community behind you to, be able to help that vision. And so when we come back, we will learn a little bit more about some of the logistics of this year's bowl game. Welcome back to the Living Local Carolina Financial Friday Community Panel. Before the break, we were talking to Mayor Blain-Bellamy and Rachel Quigley about the Myrtle Beach Bowl. We've talked about some of the history, what goes into putting a bowl game together. So I guess we can get down to the real nitty-gritty of this year's bowl game, which of course I know everybody's looking forward to hearing more about. When is the bowl game going to be this year, Rachel?
So the bowl game is going to take place on Monday, December the 19th at 2:30 p.m. at Brooks Stadium.
Perfect. And I know, there's so much hype around the game itself, but there really is so much that leads into that game. There are so many other events. Will you tell us a little bit about those?
Sure. So the teams will arrive on the 15th of December and check into their hotels, and we always kick off the bowl week, other than greeting the teams, with a welcome reception and press conference. So the local news will be at the press conference, and then we have events for the teams throughout the week. They get to do a really cool gift suite, and we've got some cool gifts for them, Myrtle Beach Bowl gifts. They will go bowling at 810 Bowling. They will go to Dave & Buster's and the Pro Football Hall of Fame with the Chamber. And then they have the game, of course, that they'll be preparing for. And then we also get to host a ladies' day for the coaching staff's wives and girlfriends, which is fun. We get to host an event for all of their children that travel with the teams. Then we also get to host an executive dinner as well. So there's a lot going on throughout the week, and we're really excited about everything.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I know, you mentioned some of the different businesses in the community that the bowl game will impact by having the team there. And I know, there are lots of businesses in the community that are also sponsoring the event that get to be a part of this. I know Carolina Trust is a sponsor of the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and we have loved attending all of the events, the past 2 years, and are looking forward to all of the events that surround the bowl game this year. With that being said, you have been the executive director of the Myrtle Beach Bowl since its conception 2 years ago. What are some things that you have learned as your past 2 years as executive director that you have taken into this third year with you when it comes to planning and preparation?
So I think the first year was very challenging with COVID. We weren't able to have as many fans as we would have liked to have. So 2021 was a big deal. We were able to open the stadium up to fans, and it was just fantastic to see, the local community out there, the fans from Tulsa, the fans from Old Dominion, be able to come out to Coastal's campus and really be able to enjoy the game. So we're just looking to build on that this year. We are adding in a pep rally this year, which will take place on Sunday night, leading into the Monday games. We're really excited about that. But the biggest thing for us is just raising awareness in the community that this event is happening, and it's an opportunity for people to come out and, like you said, interact with the local businesses, interact with the teams and the fans that are visiting from out of town. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will. It sounds like it's going to be, a great event. And what are some things that, you're looking to see happen in the future of the Myrtle Beach Bowl as it continues to grow?
I think the biggest thing for me is just getting people out to the game to be able to have the experience that the mayor and I got to have in Montgomery a couple years ago, and that people have had at the Myrtle Beach Bowl the last 2 years. Just people coming out to enjoy the game.
Yeah, and before we started rolling, you were mentioning a program to me that you guys have been working on to get some of our local students to the game. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
I'll be glad to. So the board of the Myrtle Beach Bowl has agreed that it is worth their while to get local high school and middle school students, give them an opportunity to actually experience the bowl, to encourage them to see themselves one day being a participant, for example. So originally the thought was to invite every football game participant and every cheer team participant among all of Horry County schools, high school and middle schools. As it turns out, the bowl game is going to be on the first day of the holiday, the December holiday. So all the coordination and transportation won't be so easy, but the invitation is still going to be extended to the principals of all of these schools. Each of them having the discretion to use up to 60 tickets just to get the right people in place.
I know, Rachel, the bowl game impacts the community in so many different ways, but it has a huge economic impact. You kind of, I guess, let people at home know what an economic impact that this is having on our area.
The first year in 2020, the economic impact was about $1 million, and last year with Old Dominion and Tulsa, the economic impact was around $3 million. So
which is phenomenal.
It's a big deal for our area.
It is, it really is. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us today and being able to give fans at home all the information they need about the upcoming Myrtle Beach Bowl game.